On May 2nd, at about 3 a.m. Eastern, Spirit Airlines posted on their website the following. To our guests, all flights have been canceled. Our customer service is no longer available. We are proud of the impact of our ultra-low-cost model on the industry over the last 34 years and had hoped to serve our guests for many years to come. Following this message, they ceased all operations, leaving 277 flights on that day alone canceled, and the passengers stranded where they were. The Wall Street Journal first reported this turn of events was likely only the afternoon before, so the apparent sudden shuttering caught a lot of people off guard. In response, most major airlines have put out special offers and discounted rates to the people affected by the closure. So now that Spirit is gone, how exactly did we get here? Spirit Airlines began its life as, believe it or not, Clipper Trucking Company in 1964. They appear to have been quite successful, as by 1974, just 10 years later, the company changed its name to Ground Air Transfer, and then, only 9 years after that, they changed their name once more. In 1983, the company started flying as Charter One Airlines, which eventually changed its name, again, to Spirit Airlines in May of 1992. Its business model was to offer very basic flights at ultra-low fares. Of course, as many people know, they would also throw in fees for any possible add-on, and you could choose whether to buy them or not. This model let them undercut the larger players in the industry, even as those same airlines merged together and became more monopolistic in their respective markets. The next 28 years saw the airline grow consistently. At their peak, the carrier was the 7th largest in the U.S., however, they ran into serious trouble during the COVID pandemic in 2020 when global travel ground to a halt. Although they, like their competitors in the industry, received financial aid in the Coronavirus Air Relief and Economic Security Act, otherwise known as CARES. Instability for the airline still followed the pandemic. Beginning in February of 2020, there were several attempts by both Frontier and JetBlue to acquire Spirit Airlines. The first proposal came from Frontier Airlines, which offered a mix of cash and stock for roughly $2.9 billion to Spirit's shareholders. In April of the same year, JetBlue offered an all-cash deal worth $3.6 billion. Both of these offers were initially rejected by Spirit's shareholders. JetBlue was the first to be turned away in May of 22, then came the rejection of Frontier in July, just a few months later. In rejecting JetBlue, Spirit indicated that it believed that the Justice Department would reject the deal on the basis that it was anti-competitive. However, the rejection of Frontier seems to be a little more simple. You see, Spirit decided to reconsider JetBlue's offer and accept it. Now, that warning that Spirit gave about the acquisition being challenged proved to be quite prescient, because that's exactly what happened. Over the next nearly 2 years, the DOJ challenged the purchase, and by March of 2024, JetBlue ended their efforts to acquire Spirit. In January of 24, a judge blocked the takeover attempt, writing in the decision that the deal was anti-competitive. By November of that same year, Spirit declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Only a few months later, in January of 25, Frontier Airlines once again offered to purchase Spirit. The offer was for $2.1 billion in cash and stock, but unlike the last time, Spirit did not reject this offer. However, nothing ever seems to materialize from it. Despite the offer from Frontier, Spirit completed their bankruptcy and restructuring, which had begun in November of 24 by March of 25. But by August of that same year, they entered bankruptcy again. The final nail in the coffin for Spirit came in February 2026, when the United States and Israel engaged in a joint attack of Iran, leading to the shutting down of the Strait of Hormuz. With the critical waterway shut down, gas and oil prices have continued to climb rapidly, affecting industries all over the world, including air travel. As you've likely heard, there's a jet fuel shortage hitting Europe now, causing many airlines to cancel flights and consolidate their schedules. The shortage of fuel shot the price skyrocketing. These increases in costs pushed the flagging Spirit Airlines to the edge, and in April of 2026, just last month, Spirit was seeking a government bailout to keep from collapsing completely. But on May 1st, those bailout negotiations with the Trump administration fell apart, and less than 24 hours later, the airline announced the complete shuttering of all operations. Spirit Airlines specifically cited the Iran war and the spiking fuel costs as the reason for its shutdown. There were thousands of passengers left stranded by this closure, and I can only imagine how much luggage will forever remain lost. We are likely to see the fallout of this for years to come. There are now thousands of staff that are out of a job and billions of dollars worth of equipment that's sitting unused. There are also fewer options for consumers to choose for their travel. I'm not sure why Spirit couldn't come out of the pandemic with any amount of stability. There was a travel boom that sprung forth from lockdown being lifted. They just didn't seem to be able to capitalize on it. By the time you're reading this, most of the stranded passengers are likely already home or have sorted out their return travel plans. But I want to take a minute to have a personal note to all the staff that are now searching for what to do next. You have my empathy. I know all too well what it's like to have your job unexpectedly ripped from you. I wish all of you the best in finding your next job or step in life, whatever that may be. You know, one of the things that this has made me reflect on is the 2024 CrowdStrike outage that crashed computer systems for airlines all around the world. We're a travel agency, and we had plenty of clients impacted by that outage. We even had a couple stranded in Europe trying to get from Germany to England to take their trip home. Because they booked their trip through us, we were able to help them, and we found them alternative means of travel. It wasn't ideal, obviously, for anyone, but we worked with them to make sure they could still complete their trip as planned, and they made sure we knew how grateful they were to have us there. If something like what happened with Spirit goes on during a trip we booked, we can help you with that. Each year, we book hundreds of vacations for individuals, families, and large groups. We've got years of experience and first-hand knowledge to make sure that you get the best trip possible with support all along the way. Our team of travel professionals can help find and book the best rates and discounts for your trip because that's our job. So don't book on your own. Use our expertise and book with us so we can help get you far, far away.